Hey everybody, Sean here, and I hope you're doing well. It's been said that if you are a liar, you must have a good memory. And recently, the site Salt and Light caught one from Heidi Baker that just further proves that she is a false teacher. We did a video earlier this year on one of Heidi Baker's trips to heaven and her visit to the body parts room. This story was told at the Toronto Blessing in 2002, but just recently in this video, she tells the story again with some significant changes. The original clip used is only about 60 seconds.
I got to see the rooms in heaven, and they were amazing, and there was everything there. The first room was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. I walk in there with the Father. He tells me, you open the door. He gave me the keys. He said he prepared these rooms, and I didn't know what that meant till I went to heaven and I saw him. And I went in, whoosh, and there was all these body parts. There was every kind of, there was ears and eyes and noses, there was intestines, there were legs, there were feet, there were all these body parts. He said, oh, you can go in there any time. I said, I can? He says, yeah, I'll tell you when to go in there. You go in there and we'll get a leg and we'll put it on and they'll be fine. He goes, you just listen to me and we go in together. We'll just go in and we'll get some eyes. And I said, that is so cool.
But now let's take a look at the newest changes.
I'm gonna tell you a story.
Whoa! I got to see the rooms in heaven, and they were amazing, and there was everything there. The first room was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. I walk in there with the Father. He tells me, you open the door. He gave me the keys.
So Shalabasantu. So God showed up. And he showed up as Father, and he handed me keys.
He said he prepared these rooms, and I didn't know what that meant till I went to heaven and I saw him. And I went in, whoosh, and there was all these body parts.
And he gave me these keys, and the first room was full of food. And I went in there, Sharaba.
There was every kind of, there was ears and eyes and noses, there was intestines, there were legs, there were feet.
And I love all the food. There were rice and beans, and yes, sugar was there.
There were all these body parts. He said, oh, you can go in there any time. I said, I can.
The next room he took me in, full of body parts. Went in there. Whoa, it was a weird room. Eyeballs blinking at me, ears and eyeballs and livers and spleens and toes.
He gave me keys to the warehouse. We just walk right in the room and we just say, yes, I need an eye.
Anyway, I've been in that room. It has skin. And the Lord said, when I tell you, you can go in here. I said, what? The last room you said anytime. This room you said when I tell you. I said, why when you tell me? He said, because if you could go in there anytime, you'd never sleep.
And this is the very point we made in the first video, that if she had access to this room anytime, then why hasn't she been helping people all these years? So now it makes sense why she had to change her story, because she hasn't been doing that.
I said, oh, that's true. I wouldn't sleep because I have a mercy heart. If I could give out spleens and livers and kidneys and hearts and eyes at all times, in every situation, I would never sleep and I'd be dead by now.
And then I said, God, I want to go in the rooms. I want to go in the room. Do you know what happened? I started to realize I'm his daughter. I get to go anywhere in the house. I'm not a servant. I'm not a slave. I'm not hired hand. I'm a daughter. I get to just march right in there any time of day or night. I get to just march right in with the keys. I've got the keys. I get to go wherever I want to go.
And the Lord said, when I tell you, you can go in here.
Parts, he said,
Oh, you can go in there any time.
And it's interesting that she doesn't like old stories, yet she's telling one of her own from almost 20 years ago.
I don't tell old stories. This is new. Nothing's old. There's no old revival. The revival's happening. I don't like old stories when by and by a long time ago when God used to move. Forget it.
I'll leave a link to the newest Heidi video below because if you watch it, you may notice something. As these false teachers are getting on with age, not only are they forgetting their own stories, they seem to be acting more and more absurd to keep the show going. It's an hour long, but if you just skim through it, you'll see what I mean. Folks, these are the very people God has warned us of in 2 Peter. In the name of greed, they will exploit people with made-up stories. Remember, stay focused on the truth of God's word, and you will not be deceived by these people. So as always, feel free to leave your thoughts and comments below, and until next time, take care and God bless.